and Cami to come. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. I have to start off by saying I have thoroughly gotten to know members of this club and what this club has done with the Wake Smiles Project. It sets the bar high for all of us other Rotarians in the district, so thank you for your great work. I want to start out and excuse my voice. I'm still trying to get over the pollen season. I wanted to start off and tell you how I got into youth exchange. No, I'm not a student. A lot of people ask me that when I'm around the district, but I'm not. My husband and I don't have kids, and we have the space in our house, and somebody came around 2 years ago asking if we would host a boy from France. And I thought, you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? So, yeah, we went from 0 kids to a 17-year-old boy. So that was an experience, but it was an experience that warmed our heart and it got us hooked on the program. So we had him for 6 months. They got me at the weak moment 2 weeks before I took him back to the airport to send him home, asking if I would host another one. So of course we said yes, and we hosted Cami for 6 months after. The youth exchange program, it's very near and dear to my heart, clearly, but the reason I've decided to chair this group at the district level is because I think it's one of the easiest way to recognize Rotary amongst people who aren't in Rotary themselves. And what I mean by that is my generation, and if we talk about the future of Rotary, my generation probably had a friend that was a youth exchange student or knew of one in high school. So it's a very recognized program, and it puts Rotary on the map amongst the youth of today. And it's a very easy way to share the Rotary story. I talked about it at the district conference, but every time that I am taking Cami anywhere in town or dropping her off at a friend's house, it's a chance to spread the Rotary story and how she's here and why she's here and what she's doing when she's here. I believe that I'm a form of a U.S. diplomat. I believe that I'm serving my country through Rotary, through this program. I am representing my country first, my state, and my city, along with Rotary. But it is an important program as we embrace diversity and the world relations that we're living in today. We're not all Kardashians. So if we leave it to the BBC or CNN Global, all they see is us invading countries and Kim Kardashian, which is not a valid representation of an American family. I was speaking about this weekend, but I know of 4 new members that we have inducted in our club because of Cami. People around town getting to know Cami, her friends, family, anything in the community that hears of the youth exchange program, they want to know more about Rotary. So we invite them to breakfast and we hook them, right? That's what we do. So 16 exchange programs are currently residing in the North Carolina school districts. And with 7710, I personally work with 10 superintendents. Out of those 16 programs, we are the only one that is not for profit. We are ran by volunteers, and we are the most respected. So most students, there's only 2 exchange students per high school is the quota. I know that I can call any one of these 10 superintendents and get a Rotary kid in at the last minute because they know that we are a well-oiled machine. And what I mean by that is some of the other programs pay the host families or pay the students to have them come over here. And the intentions may be wrong. And so there's a lot of friction and a lot of problems in the homes. Rotary, we don't have that. We don't get paid to host. We don't pay the volunteers who are working in the program. And because of that, we're doing it for what's in our heart and for service. So the school systems can definitely see the difference between our program and others. We do a lot of teaching when we're here. We teach them English. Cami was very versed in English when she got here, but Max from France, the only thing he knew when he got off the plane was, yes, I do not understand. So we had, anybody who ever spoke to Max would understand. He had no English training when he got here. And we would do English lessons at night, and he left here fluent. And when his family came to visit, he was working as a translator, which was one of my proudest moments. So they learn a lot when they're here, and they teach a lot. A lot of people forget that aspect, that they are teachers as well. They're teaching about the difference in religion, the difference in politics, the difference in taxes and socialism, and all these other things that we hear on the news. They put a face behind that, and they're teaching our youth that. So if you do have kids in your home or neighbors in your neighborhood like I did, she was a huge influence in teaching them the differences. And for me personally, I'm more proud to be an American than ever meeting these students. You learn the different cultures. You learn that not everyone eats at dinner at the same time as we do. It was the biggest change for her. She eats dinner at 9 o'clock. So with us waking up so early, we ate dinner a little bit earlier. So you just learn the difference in cultures and religions and everything that makes us unique. You become more accepting of those differences. You don't judge. And she's teaching the students that she meets not to judge based on difference in appearance, difference in religious views, and you just learn acceptance and tolerance for other humans and realize that this world is so small with the youth exchange program. She literally has friends all over the world now, and we do too. It's not always a big experiences for a youth exchange student. While she's been here, we've taken her to the Mall of America. She's been to Charleston. She's been to Disney World. We're going to be embarking on our Great American Road Trip through DC, Philly, New York, Baltimore in June. But if you ask her what her favorite thing about America is, it's peanut butter. So we have had the pleasure of showing Max and Cammie peanut butter, which is apparently a huge hit for all these students from all over the world. They don't have it. She had her first piece of Great American apple pie and a chocolate chip cookie. All the things that we just take for granted, she's really enjoyed that. So I think that I've got to show her America and show her all these great things. Just get her peanut butter. We get to meet Rotarians from all over the world through this program. My husband and I will be going to Max, a boy from France. We're going to his high school graduation in July, and I look forward to visiting a Rotary when we're there. His father's a Rotarian, so I know I'll have friends in these different countries through this program. We are going to see her in Argentina in January, so it's just a nice way to realize that Rotary is part of a worldwide organization. And I was in Rotary for 4 months when they were looking for a host. And I believe that everything that I have done with Rotary is because of the youth exchange program. It really taught me the value and what Rotary is about serving. The best way to serve is through the youth of the world, and I'm so happy to be involved in it, and it makes me want to do more with Rotary. And of course, you have the lasting relationships. These are not friends. We don't meet friends. We don't lose her when she goes back to her country in June. We have gained her family. So these aren't friendships. These are family relationships. We now have family in France. We have family in Argentina. And I want to talk, that's the beauty. Who wants to sign up? Right? So let's talk about the logistics of the program from a club perspective. It's going to take a budget line item of about $1,500 to host a student. We have a database of students that we cannot bring over until the first thing is having a club agree to host. It's a $1,500 ask on the budget. That's $100 a month for their school lunch stipend for 10 months. That's $1,000. For $300, that ask is for RILA. We like for all of our students to attend RILA. And then the last $200 is for incidentals like the district conference. She was there and she represented the program tremendously this weekend. But we don't want that to be on the host family. So it's a $1,500 ask. We always like to have at least 2 host families, if not 3. So you can either split up the semester, so August to January or January to June, or if you have 3 students or 3 host families, you would have 3 months each. And then you would need to appoint a counselor in your club who is not one of the host families, but in case there was an issue with school or within the host family, they become a safe house for the students. So those are the working parts behind the scenes from the club level. My goal is to grow this program to host 10 students in the district. We have 46 clubs, and there are currently 4 students. That means 4 clubs are participating in this program. Out of 46 clubs, we have less than 10% participation. And my goal is to grow this to at least 10 students per year. We have a great youth exchange committee. If any of you would like to join or learn more, that's a great way. But this is definitely one of the least participated programs in our district, and I believe that it is a membership tool. It's a tool to spread the Rotary story in every aspect. So if there's any other questions for me, I don't mind asking now, but without further ado, let's let the star of the show take over. So Cami Trucone from Argentina.
Hello, I'm Cami. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Argentina. And I'm wearing a jacket that it represents all the other exchange students that I have met, and we exchange pins and other cities or states that I have visited, so that's why it's that full. And I have been living in North Carolina for the past 8 months, and I'm leaving in June, so I'm kind of sad about it. And this experience has been amazing for me. I have met so much incredible people, and I have been hosted for 2 amazing host families, Kelly and John Long. I don't know if anybody knows him. He's the president of our club. And school here has been amazing. First, it was I was really nervous because you don't know what to expect, and I couldn't understand teenagers really good. And it was not as High School Musical or anything. Nobody started singing or dancing in the cafeteria. So it was kind of different. And my school in Argentina is really small. It's only 200 students. And here it's only that for the junior class. So seeing that much people in one building, it was really exciting for me. And my experience here has been amazing because I have grown so much. I have get so confident of myself, of the things I can do, because speaking in front of that much people in a language that is not mine, for teenagers is not that common. And for me, I have been doing it like 10 times since I get here. So now it's I'm used to it. And being able to be far away from home is hard at first, but then I now can say I lived when I was 17 years old alone in another country. And I think if you ever get the chance to host somebody, you will see what an incredible program is it, and how it helps people to grow itself, and being able to see different things and get more open-minded.
Thank you. So now we'll open it up to questions. Is there any questions from anybody about the program itself, about hosting?
When you go to school, how does the transportation work? Does the host family take you and pick you up every day from your school while you're here?
When I was at her house, because I have another host brother or sister, the neighbor took me because she was my same age. And in my new host family, I have a host sister, so she drives me back and forth to school.
So if you're in the school district, and I happen to be in the school district, she could ride the bus, but apparently that's not cool. So she does have bus transportation available. Max, the boy from France, did not. So the first host family was in the Clayton High School district, and I live outside of that. I'm in the Cleveland High School district. So when I got Max, we had to take him and pick him up every day. But it really depends on who the host families are and what school you both decide on. I didn't mind doing that. My job is a little bit more flexible, but.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. It's wonderful to have you with us, and we appreciate this information. This club had a very active Rotary Exchange program about 20 years ago, and the Permars and the Beth Briggs and a number of our members were very active in that and had students with them. We found it was a challenge to recruit families, especially with 3 a year. So we'd love to hear from you. That was kind of the barrier. So we'd love to hear from you about what tools you use or how much success you've had recruiting families.
One word, Facebook.
That is not available.
One word, Facebook. That has really changed the dynamic of attention. So if anyone, I know Dana and Racine can probably attest to my Facebook, her first bite of peanut butter went on Facebook. Everything she does goes on Facebook. And what that does is it creates awareness to all the people who are local here, and they say, what are you doing? How is she here? I'd love to know more. I'd love to do that for my family. I think that'd be a great experience on my kids. So Facebook is a huge part of that. Churches, they don't have to be Rotarians. So Rotary is the liaison, but they don't have to be a Rotarian. They go through an extensive background check. So even if we don't know them personally, we make sure that they're good to go. We do house inspections every month. But through churches, through youth groups, and really what's happened on most of these students, they come with one host family locked in. And by the time they come, they meet friends at school, and then the friends go home and tell their parents about it, or they meet these students, and then they become the second or the third host family. So it's actually a little bit easier than it was back then, but social media plays a huge part of this whole thing.
On behalf of one of my friend's sons who was interested in youth exchange, got connected with Scott Reynolds in our district, and he are you working with him? And he identified himself as like the chair for our district. So I've been working with him to get that so that for someone outbound, as a little off topic. But so
Okay.
Are you and Scott working together?
So I'll tell you about the committee. Scott Reynolds used to be the chair, and then last year we co-chaired, and now he has taken a leave of absence from the committee to travel the world. If you've seen where he's been all over the place lately. So he is not a part of our committee as of right now, but he does serve for the informational piece if we need it. So thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot that part of the presentation. There is inbound and outbound students. So inbound means that they're here for a whole school year, which is the August to June timeframe. Outbound means we send one of our American students to any country that they choose. We have 169 countries part of this program. So they can go anywhere in the world for that long-term exchange. There's also a short-term exchange which serves July and August in between the school year, where we can have somebody come inbound or go outbound to a country of their choosing. Each one of us as a chairman has a handshake relationship with the consulate of a country, and that's how we keep those relationships. So there's one of me in every district, and we all have a different country assignment. If you have a student that wants to go outbound, so an American student, we have an outbound coordinator by the name of Jim Harrington, who serves as the outbound, and then our inbound is Johnny Whitfield. So both are Rotarians, and they serve on the committee. And then they would get placed with one of them, and they would do all the paperwork, what is necessary. This takes about 2 years. They usually come during their junior year, so we start vetting in the freshman year. We vet our Americans freshman year, and they are vetted in their freshman year. And it's a 2-year training for these kids to come. So by the time they leave, they should know English. Doesn't always happen. But as we found out with Max, he gets off the plane and we're going, what happened? France? But you know, they go through extensive training through their local Rotary clubs to get them prepared. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Is there a website we can go to find out more specifics?
We are in the database. So you can go to the Rotary database, and you can definitely go to myrotary.org and see more about the program. But if there's any specific questions about what we do as far as the district, you would definitely probably want to contact me directly or anyone in the committee.
If a club gets involved, does it mean that they have to do a reciprocal? In other words, if they send an outbound, do they have to take it in?
Okay. Officially, you do not have to host if you send somebody outbound. Legally, we cannot tell you that that is a requirement. We are hosting, the Clayton Club is hosting, we've hosted the last 2 years, and we have not sent a student outbound. Technically, we prefer, all the attorneys in here, is that beating around it enough? So we prefer that if you are sending a student outbound, that you host an inbound. It just makes it easy. And while there's an empty bed in that house, we prefer that that host family, if they're sending their student, they at least become at least one host family. It is not, legally, we cannot require that happens, but that is the old, just do it. It's kind of highly recommended that you do that, but you don't have to. There's certain circumstances like this where we hosted and we didn't send anybody out, so.
How do the school credits work?
Good question. So the school credits with Max from France did not transfer back to France. So let's paint a picture. 17-year-old boy away for 10 months. They know that the grades don't count. So I had my first taste of motherhood when he came home with a 0 in French class. So, needless to say, his jiu-jitsu class and track and field, it all went away. We had a great teaching moment about sometimes you do things because it's the right thing to do, not because you're getting credit for it. And as much as this is a vacation for him, it's not a vacation for us, taking you to school every day for you to sleep. So his did not transfer, and it depends on the country. Argentina, it does transfer. Straight A student. Funny how that works. And she does not get special treatment. This is a straight A student in a second language. I mean, she does better than her host sister right now, which is causing a little friction, but she's a straight A student. She's very involved in Interact, and she does a lot of Rotary things at the school. We did a Stop Hunger Now event at her class. So yes, some countries, depending on what their standards are, they will let the grades transfer. So when she goes back, she will have 5 months left of her senior year to graduate, if she did well, which she did. Any other questions?
You said you've got 10 in reserve ready to come?
So we have a database of over 1,000. My goal is to have 10 here at one time in the district. Next year, we have 2 coming. 2. Only 2 clubs agreed to host, which, it's still growing, and I'm getting around to the clubs to speak like this, and we are seeing a lot more interest, but we have to make our commitment by December. So in December, we committed to those 2 clubs with those 2 students. So now we're full for 2015-2016 school year. We are opening right now, and we have until December. So over the next 7 months, we have time to vet for 2016-2017 school year. My goal is to be at 10, but the database is full of thousands of kids who write me all the time personally and say, please, we've heard great things about your district, please let us. A lot of them want to come here because of the UNC Duke Peace Center. They see that Raleigh and the Research Triangle Park is on the map, and they want to come here because they might end up being a Peace Fellow. They might end up moving back here. So our universities call for a lot of attention from around the world, and a lot of them write me, and unless I have a club that's willing to host, I can't take them. So we had 4 this past year. Currently there's 4 here: Argentina, Iceland, Italy, and Brazil. So those are the 4, and we have 2 students outbound, Switzerland and in Germany. This year, we already have been committed to a girl from Chile and a boy from, I'd have to look, but I want to say Ecuador. Our boy from Italy, I'll brag on him a little bit. So not only does he look like he should be in One Direction, he is a star soccer player. And he goes to Durham Academy. He's hosted by the Durham Club, and they quickly made him an assistant coach. They're trying to figure out a way to not send him back. And he's now the coach of the women's soccer team at Durham Academy. So some of them come with great abilities that they want to keep them. So I'm sure his looks have nothing to do with the girls' soccer team at all. But any other questions? I don't want to take up the rest of your time. Thank you so much for having me, and keep up the good work.